guys, it's Alexa from Alexa Loves Books, and if there is one thing that has become an obsession for me this summer, it is playing Pokemon Go. While I'm not nearly as accomplished as Kristen over at Super Space Chick is, I would like to say I've gotten my fair share of Pokemon, and I'm still on the lookout for some of them. But what does that have to do with this video today, you may be wondering? Well, Kristen actually tagged me to do the Pokemon Go Book Tag, which was created by Ainsley over at Reddit Midnight, and I've seen this tag floating around and I really wanted to do it, but I generally try to wait until someone has tagged me, so I'm so excited that Kristen has tagged me to do this. So the first question is starters, a book that started your love of reading. For this one, it's really easy. When I was little, my parents used to have to read multiple Dr. Seuss books to me, and I just had them read it to me over and over again. But if we're gonna talk about a book that I recall reading that I read myself and I really fell in love with reading because of, it would have to be this book, Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I was obsessed with this series when I was little. I think there's just something about the pioneer life that really appealed to me because it was so far removed from my own reality. If you guys don't know what the series is about, it's sort of autobiographical, I suppose, because it's written by the girl in the series, and this particular book is basically the story of her family. It's her mom, her dad, her two sisters, and it's basically about their everyday life living in a cabin in the woods. And at the end of the book, they decide to leave and find their fortune elsewhere. So yeah, I actually did an event recently with my friend Hannah I was so obsessed with. Well, not so recently, last year. And we had a lot of fun revisiting the series and just talking about it as adults and why we loved it so much. So yeah, this is the book that I would choose. Pikachu, an iconic classic that you'll always love. And this is also a no-brainer for me. It's one that I read when I was little, and I collect editions of it up to this day because I love the story so much. What is that book, you may ask? Well, it is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and I absolutely love this book. I think I could relate to Sarah Crew so much when I was little, and that's part of the reason why I loved her so much. Anyway, if you guys don't already know, A Little Princess is the story of Sarah Crew, whose dad leaves her at a boarding school for girls while he goes off to fight in the war, and she gets word that her dad has been killed and her fortune is lost, and so she is forced into servitude at the same school. And it's just such a good book, you guys. I don't know, I just love Sarah so much. She's such a bright spirit. She's insanely imaginative, and she's just a good person at heart, and I adored her. And I also really like the movie version of this book, so there's that. Anyway, if you haven't read this book yet, I would highly recommend it. It's definitely a classic that anyone can get into. Zubat, a book you lost interest in because it is literally everywhere. And while it hasn't been everywhere this year, it was because it was everywhere last year that I kind of just am putting it on the back burner for now, and I'll come back to it later. And that book is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I do want to read it. I think it's such an interesting concept for a book, and I really like that it's an unusual format as well. But people have been talking about it so much that honestly, I just don't. First of all, I don't want my opinion to be influenced by what everyone else is saying, which is mostly good things, or there are the occasional dissenters, and I feel like every time I see it, I'm like, I should have read it already, so I can't. So yeah, that's the one book I would probably not want to read anytime soon, so it'll have to wait. Ditto, a book that reminds you of other tropes, but you love it anyway. And for this, I thought of The Cadet of Tildor, which is by Alex Liddell, and it's this book that was published a couple of years ago. And it's basically about a girl who pretends to be a boy so that she can learn how to fight, and she becomes this badass fighter. And it reminded me in a lot of ways of a lot of fantasy novels, but most particularly reminded me of the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce and The Protector of the Small Quartet by Tamara Pierce, which sort of have the same concept going for them, except that in the first series, it's really similar because it's a girl pretending to be a boy so she could learn how to fight. And the only similarity it has with the second series is that it's a girl who becomes a really great warrior fighter. Anyway, yeah, so it had a lot of the tropes that I have seen in other fantasy books, but I really enjoyed it. And if you guys haven't read it, you definitely should. Snorlax, a book series that you have not started because of sheer size, and the easy answer to this is the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, because those books are really long. It's also a really long series, and yeah, I just it's also, again, because of the thing that everyone has been talking about it, and I just don't want my opinion influenced by everyone else, so yeah. Anyway, it is a fantasy series that has an orphan main character who is able to tap into the magic system of that world, apparently. And that's all I really remember about it, but yeah, so that's a massive series that will be an undertaking when I finally do read it. A book just fell, guys. Gengar, and the description is a book that kept you up at night. And the Fallen book is actually the book that I would have used for this, because I actually stayed up to read this book one night because it was that good, and that book is Son of the Shadows by Juliet Marlier, and this is the second book in her, I forgot what it's called, Seven Water series. Anyway, this book is a continuation of the first in many ways, so I can't tell you too much about the plot, but I will say it has a different main character. It's really good. It's just, oh, she writes such lush fantasy stories, and I really enjoy like how she explores her characters and their motivations. And this one is a little bit more exciting than its predecessor. And the romance is definitely really good in this one too. So yeah, really love this book. Kept reading until like 5 in the morning. It was great. Need a King and Need a Queen, your bookish OTP, and please, there's only one answer for that. Anna and Sam from the Incarnate trilogy by Jodi Meadows, which I am obsessed with, which you guys probably know by now. Anyway, this book is basically about a girl named Anna who is the first new soul born in like a time when all these souls keep reincarnating over and over again, and so it explores her journey to figure out how she was reborn, why she was reborn, and you know, to deal with all the people's reactions to that. And oh my god, I ship this couple so much. I just think about their like, there's this big moment that happens between them like halfway through the book, and it's just so good. I return to that moment a lot because I love it so much, and I love them so much. They're such a great couple. They really work together, and I just love it. Okay, I love it. Read the series if you haven't yet. Rapidash, a fire-hot, fast-paced read. And even though it's pretty long, I just knew immediately I had to pick this book. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is really one of the books I've read really, really fast because I really had to know how it ended. It's pretty hefty, but it just flies by because you're so curious about all these people, all these characters in the book. You're curious to see whether they'll pull off the heist, and it's just really good. Anyway, this is the story of a gang of 6 not quite heroes who team up together to perform an impossible heist, and it is so, so good. If you've read Leigh's other series, the Grisha trilogy, then you'll know, or you'll realize that the world is pretty much the same world. So yeah, it's in the same universe. So, oh, this book is so good, and I'm so excited that it's almost time for Crooked Kingdom to come out because I cannot wait to find out what happens to the gang. Eevee, a series you will never get tired of seeing spin-offs for. Is it possible to just pick a world where a series is set? Because if that's the case, I think it would be fun to keep reading more Turtle books, because Time Repeaters can just keep writing them. We can keep reading them. It'll be great. We get to see all the people we love in, you know, different capacities, and we'll get to meet new characters, which is also really great. She's actually writing a series, or will be publishing a series about a character in one of the Turtle series, and oh, so exciting. It's like a prequel series, but not, so that should be fun. Yeah, so if I were going to want more books from an author or series or whatever, I would go with the Turtle books, because if you haven't read any Time Repeaters, you should fix that. Magikarp, a book series that was surprisingly awesome. Fun fact, I don't actually read a lot of paranormal YA. It's not my thing, so I don't read a lot of it. And I don't read a lot of sci-fi either. So I actually ended up reading the series because my sister Mel and my friend Rachel from Hello Charlie really, really wanted me to read it, and I was very surprised to find that I actually enjoyed the entire series. It was really good. It was hilarious. There was a lot of banter. The ship was great. The story was compelling. What series might that be, you ask? Well, I'm happy you did, because it is the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And this is like the bind-up edition where it has the first 2 books. And I really enjoyed the series, guys. It was funny, it was really quick to read, and I just found it very entertaining. It's like, it's not necessarily like my favorite series ever, but I definitely enjoyed it. I've actually reread the series quite a few times. So good, so fun. The first book is basically about a girl named Katie who moves with her mom to a new town, and there she kind of encounters these mysterious next door neighbors, Dee, who becomes her best friend, and Damon, who is a hot, broody dude. And she finds out that there's more to them than meets the eye, and that's basically what the story revolves around. I know it sounds like your typical paranormal YA, but trust me guys, it's really fun. Like, I really enjoyed it. Legendary. An overhyped series you're still excited to read, and in line with my last answer, I'm gonna pick a Jennifer L. Armentrout series, and that series is the Covenant series, which I've heard so many things about. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of things I've heard about it. Anyway, I'm very excited for it because that is a series that kind of combines Greek mythology with YA, which I always love. And yeah, I don't really know much more about it than that. As for other books that have been really hyped up for me that I am also looking forward to reading, I actually have a lot of series enders that I need to read. So there's The Winter's Kiss by Marie Rutkowski, there is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary Pearson, and there is also The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. Mew and Mewtwo, a collector's edition you wish you own, and for that the answer was so easy. I really want the Hufflepuff edition of the Harry Potter books that is published by Juniper Books because I am a loyal Hufflepuff. I love Hufflepuff, and it would just look really good on my shelves. So yeah, definitely aspiring to get that one day. Poke Egg, a debut novel you're excited for, and for this one I'm choosing one that's coming out in 2017, and that book is Winter Song by S.J. Jones, which just sounds like this lush, amazing fantasy novel. It's inspired by Labyrinth, which is, I assume is important to you guys, and yeah, it sounds amazing. Lure Module, an autobi author, easy peasy. I mean, J.K. Rowling is definitely an autobi author for me. Like, honestly, I'll buy her books, even the ones she writes under the pen name, even though it'll probably take a while to get through those. Another autobi author for me is Sarah J. Maas, who I absolutely adore and whose books I really love. And we've come to the very last question, which is servers down, a book release you've been waiting on forever. In line with the last question, the answer to that is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas, which I feel like I've been waiting for forever, even though it's really only been a year. And I just need it because I need to know what happens to my precious Throne of Glass babies. There you have it, guys. Those are all my answers to the Pokemon Go Book Tag. I gotta go now because I need to go and catch more Pokemon. But I don't know who I want to tag for this because I'm not sure who actually plays Pokemon Go or who was ever interested in Pokemon. But if you are watching this and you have been playing Pokemon Go, or you loved Pokemon when you were younger or still love Pokemon now, I tag you. I feel like I'm doing the Pokemon thing. Anyway, you can find all my social media links down below, and if you've read any of the books in the tag or want me to read any of the books that I have not read that I mentioned in the tag, do tell me in the comments. And yeah, if you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys for another video soon. Bye!